Armored Core Law, Iguasu. History. In life there will always be winners and losers. People who have it all, and others who, no matter how much money they throw around, nor effort they give into something, they will always end up with the raw end of the deal. The history of Iguazu is very much like this. While like many pilots his childhood and teen years seem lost, what we do know is this man was a gambler. A man who bet high and lost, and kept losing. In fact, he lost so much that to pay his debts, he would have to undergo 4th generation coral augmentation surgery. Of course, we don't know the full details of what this augmentation is, as we've seen it in a number of different ways, including 621, who seems to be one of the many people all wrapped up and wired up with cables coming out to them, but being able to function and pilot an armored core, while also being able to make choices of their own. However, when Walter was put through the augmentation by Arquebus in their factory, it robs him of his free will. In Iguazu's case, it's not made clear who he owed money to. As such, this could have been an illegal operation, done so by criminals to obtain his body parts to sell. Or this could be the same case as we've seen back in Armored Core 1, where a corporation would help Ravens out of debt by performing human plus operations on them. Still, no matter how it happened, what this does lead to is the augmented gambler going down a road of what some would say was a disaster from day one. As with his new experimental augmentations, the man would pick a fight with the hero of Jupiter, along with his partner in crime, Volta, leading to such a beatdown from the hero that Iguazu never quite looked the same afterwards. Again, while there is no pinpoint time when this beatdown by Michigan happened, it's possible this happened before Iguazu was part of the Red Guns, leading him and Volta to be dragged into the Red Guns by Michigan, as he wanted to make something of them. For the next 7 years of the gambler's life, however, he would experience what he called the daily hell of working under Michigan, the commander of Balaam Red Guns. It's during these years the pair made a pact to beat the living daylights out of Michigan and then leave the Red Guns for good. However, that never came to be, and by the time of 621's arrival, Iguazu is still part of the Red Guns. And then we come to the crossroads in his history, as according to different reports, Iguazu's history would alter depending on the choices of 621, and we'll talk about them now. Starting with the first meeting of 621 and Iguazu, the Red Gun pilot takes an instant disliking to Walter's hound, calling them a freelancer, who him and Volta have to babysit during their mission to take out the dam's power generators being used by the Rubicon Liberation Front. The reason for this most likely is Michigan gives the unknown pilot a Red Gun call sign, G13. Even though he hated being a Red Gun, Iguazu seems to have some pride about being a member of the Red Guns, and he did not like some newbie coming in and getting a call sign of the group. This can be heard in his lines during the mission, where they talk about what they're doing here and how the real Red Guns are going to take the wall next. It's during this mission that the first split of Iguazu's history happens too, for on one hand 621 could work with the pair of Red Gun pilots to complete the mission, yet their own skill outshined the pair of Red Guns in pressing Michigan, who throughout the mission had only traded insults and backtalk with his own Red Gun members, G4 Volta and G5 Iguazu, the most famous of these being about starting a sewing club and stitching G5 Iguazu's mouth shut due to his talkative nature. On the other hand, 621 could turn on the Red Gun pilots and proceed to embarrass them by taking out their armoured cores with ease, after being paid to do so by the Rubicon Liberation Front. It would lead to more belittling by Michigan, and this is where 621 can hear Iguazu's plan to beat down Michigan, and how he's not taking any more shit from 621, as he gets enough of that from Michigan. It's based on which choice is made by 621 here that will change how soon the two meet again. One event that will not change, however, is Iguazu going missing during Operation Wall Climber. It can be read in Volta's final words that G5 went missing in action before this suicide mission. So if 621 did help the Red Guns during the dam mission, 621 and G5 would not see each other again until the mission Take Out the Ice Worm. However, if 621 took out the Red Gun pair at the dam, Iguasu would come to the aid of the Coyotes after they tried to hack RAD's database. According to him, he is making some extra scratch, showing that red guns don't seem to be banned from doing mercenary work. That, or G5 like always, is ignoring the rules to suit his own whims. He also mentions about getting revenge for what happened at the dam. The Red Gun and 621 fight for a bit, only then to be interrupted by 4 IA-27 Ghost units, who attack both, making Iguazu demand 621 to help him fight them off, or they're both dead. Helping him or taking him out first, no matter what 621 does, G5 would live on, with an even bigger chip on his shoulder, thanks to this being his second beatdown by the Freelancer. It's then, after this, that taking out the Ice Worm is where 621 and Iguazu would meet again. This time, the mouthy G5 gets himself put on front line duty by opening his mouth once again, saying,
"Sure thing, Chief. Tell you what, I'll watch and let you know how badly that goes for us."
Gun 5, you just volunteered yourself for the front line.
Once again heading out to battle, Iguazu is shocked that 621 is able to use the stun needle to hit the Ice Worm, even going as far as to say this over the radio.
"That freak actually did it."
The skills of 621 outshine the Red Gun once again, and the pair part ways for a while, until there is a split in history again. In the mission Underground Exploration Depth 2, 621 will learn Balaam led its force down into the depths of Watchpoint Alpha first. This led to half their forces being wiped out by its defenses, and a lot of their pilots desert the organization, including Iguazu and G3. It's in these depths 621, if they help the Red Guns at the dam, will find Iguazu in a desperate state, as he tells 621 that their death is his ticket out of this hellhole. It seems being trapped down here had taken its mental toll on the Red Gun, as he yells and screams as they fight about what makes 621 so special. It's a fight that ends with Iguazu's death. Yet, should 621 have taken out G5 at both the dam and when he works for the Coyotes, 621 will be surprised by Cold Call, a hired assassin who Iguazu has hired to take out 621 down in the depths. And it's listening to the killer that we hear Iguazu has thrown away everything that made him a Red Gun, and his pride as well. All because 621 constantly beat him down. But this killer would fail just like G5, and 621 would next meet their rival in the mission Reach the Coral Convergence. This meeting would only happen if 621 had been signing with Allmind, who directs the Hound to where Snail is hiding, waiting to ambush 621 when they have taken out the last defenses of the Coral. It's as this pair fight that Iguazu would come charging in, spouting about how they were right, and this is where 621 was. Allmind had led the vengeful Red Gun to the fight, and all he wanted to do was kill 621, and Snail was just in his way. It's during this fight and others Iguazu will mention about a ringing in his ears, even during the fight back at Grid 37 where he will blame the Quack for messing him up. What we know now is that coral augmentations, especially the 4th generation of them, seem to be able to hear mutated coral, 621 being the prime example with air. And it is the same with Iguazu here, only his augmentation doesn't seem to be fully picking up her voice. Instead, it's just ringing that always happens when he and 621 meet. This ringing does not help the Red Gun's pilot's mental state, who does meet his end here, or so it seems. As 621 keeps helping Allmind achieve their coral release, it's finally at the last hurdle that Allmind would tell 621 they have no use for them anymore. And then a familiar voice comes over from Allmind's armored core, G5 Iguazu. Having become part of this monster as he puts it, he battles 621 for a while in the armored core Mind Gamma, before being beaten back. Allmind then brings in the Allmind's IB-07 Soul 644, which Iguazu controls along with the other souls or data of other pilots 621 has killed. However, as Air 621 and Iguazu fight, the Red Gun pilot releases a wave of energy that pushes Allmind out of their own AC and air out of hers, leading to Iguazu to admit for the first time they're all gone. The ringing is gone, and he feels like his mind is clear. And now he can finally get that one-on-one fight he has always wanted with 621. Sadly, even with this powerful AC, and his mind now clear, Iguasu would be beaten, his existence fading as he tries for one last attack. He admits he was jealous of 621, the mercenary who had it all, who could make their own choices, who could change their fate. In the end, was this just a man who wanted to be able to make his own mistakes? Was he a case of a human who just wanted to be able to live the life he wanted? And if that meant him losing some of himself, it did not matter, because he made those choices. He was not told nor ordered, it was his own free will. Something he lost when he became a red gun, and in the end, something he would give away just to try and put down the person he wanted to be. Someone who could make their own choices and had the power to do so without others trying to make choices for them. Finally, to end this report, let us look at the armoured cores of Iguazu, starting with his red gun armoured core, Headbringer. A bipedal Melander C3 series armoured core, which like all Balaam ACs, which offers good all-round defences in most areas, but it is let down by its energy defense. Headbringer is an all-round craft with good energy recovery and enough speed to allow a pilot to dodge and get behind a foe. As for weapons, the Headbringer comes with the Ludlow machine gun, the Curtis linear rifle, the P-20 MLT missile launcher, and the Su R8 pulse shield. With such a loadout, I found myself while piloting the craft to take two styles of attacking. The first being an all-out style, firing off all the weapons I could, not charging the linear rifle, just single shots. This allowed me to keep pressure on with the missiles and machine gun shots too. It was all about putting down as much damage as I could without the use of the shield. The other style was a more defensive one, using the pulse shield as cover to charge up the linear rifle and fire off missiles until I was ready. Then hit the foe with a charged up shot to stun them, and let loose with the weapons until the stun ended, and then I went back to the shield and charging. The final craft I can talk about for this red gun pilot is the armoured core Mind Gamma. This craft is a reverse joint-legged AC, which uses Mind Alpha parts for the core and arms, and Mind Beta parts for its legs and head. The craft does offer some speed, and can jump quite high thanks to its reverse legs, however it suffers from weak kinetic defences. For weapons, this craft comes with the 44-142 KRSV multi-energy rifle on its right arm, the MG014 Ludlow machine gun on its left arm, while its backed weapons are the 45-091 laser orbit, and the SI-27 SU-R8 pulse shield. Using Mind Gamma, it very much shares the same style of attack as I mentioned when using Headbringer. Either you go all-out attack mode, firing off all the weapons you can, really putting the hurt on the foe, or using the shield to be able to charge up the multi-energy rifle with the use of the laser orbit to do chip damage as you do. Once charged, you then stun the foe with a machine gun fire before hitting them with a fully charged multi-energy rifle shot. With this, the report on G5 Iguazu comes to a close.